A fire at an apartment building in Burlington left tenants scrambling to find a place to stay. We showed you last week's fire on St. Paul Street. It was small, contained to a basement utility closet, but the 1850s building needs repair and electrical work now. So that means it could be weeks before tenants can move back in. Tenants got emergency help finding a place right after the fire from the Red Cross, but that's it. And tenants without renters insurance are trying to find housing in a tight market and are in a battle with the landlord. Courtney Lambden at 7 Days picks up the story from there. Courtney, there's a fight over whether the property owner needs to cover relocation costs, right?
That's right, Darren. Yeah, so the city of Burlington does have an ordinance on the books that essentially in its simplest form says that if tenants are dislocated from their place of residence due to no fault of their own, and their residence becomes unlivable, then the property owner is required to pay for their relocation costs. The city of Burlington says that that is the case for this apartment building on St. Paul Street, but the landlord, Joe Handy, one of the city's largest property owners and in rental properties, says that this ordinance doesn't apply to this situation, which is what he called an act of God. So it seems like there is going to be a battle ahead between the parties.
Another big problem here, Courtney, this building by Burlington standards is relatively cheap for renters.
That's right. So, yes, with the tenants that we spoke with several of them, and they told us about the rental rates. We learned that a one-bedroom there costs somewhere between $1,350 to $1,500, which sounds like a lot, but I think is on the lower end for Burlington. Complicating matters, I think, for these folks is a lot of them are on public assistance, so they would need to find a new place that takes a Section 8 voucher. And I'm sure, as your viewers know, we are in a time of a severe housing shortage, so finding any kind of unit right now is a real challenge.
Right. So what are these renters doing?
Well, it was clear that some of them did not know about this ordinance. We actually didn't know about it until kind of the last minute in our reporting. So we weren't able in the moment to tell some of them about it, but they've really fanned out. Some of them have gone to stay with family. Others have, with renters insurance, have been able to afford additional nights in a hotel. But one of the more, unfortunate circumstances is one of the tenants that we met ended up in the Champlain Inn homeless shelter. She didn't know about this program. We didn't know at the time when we met her, and of course we'll follow up with her now that we do, but she ended up waiting in line for a room, and of course there's no guarantee that she'll be able to get one every night that she waits in line. But this woman had lived in this building for 10 years and is now is now essentially homeless, and she is trying to find a bed every night. So we're hoping that situation, of course, changes for her, but I think everyone is in a very different circumstance depending on their financial means.
Your story's out in 7 days. Courtney Lambden, thank you. Be well.
Thank you.
We spoke with code enforcement ourselves, and an official tells us this was, quote, not an act of God, and that Handy is responsible for providing interim housing to his tenants. Tenants must find accommodations, submit their receipts to Handy to get reimbursed. If he doesn't, tenants should submit those receipts to the city. The city will then go after Handy for the money. If he doesn't pay, we're told they could put a lien on the property. And if tenants don't have the upfront cash to get a room somewhere, the city will try to help.